Just make sure you guys can hear me. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. But ultimately, the goal by me helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, the goal here is for you to attain your highest level of consciousness. In other words, it would be the same thing as me saying for you to become Christ like or Buddha like, Krishna like. Because these guys or those figures, they pretty much represented attaining that they were a representation of what it's like to attain that level of consciousness. That's what they represent. So that's why anybody could be a Buddha, anybody could become the Christ, as long as you attain that level of consciousness. So that's what that truly represents. So now, for you to attain that level of consciousness, meaning the highest level of understanding, you have to become in alignment with yourself, meaning your emotions have to be in alignment with your mental. And when that does, and when that happens, when that connection is successfully made, now you get to see things on a bigger picture. Because let's just say if you're depressed or if you have anxiety, whatever the fuck the situation is, you're not gonna be in your best state of mind. Or if you're afraid, you see what I'm saying? Certain emotional shit that's happening with you, it's not gonna help you to see things clearly because your emotions have a direct relationship with your mental. That's why they are pretty much represented as your masculinity and your femininity, or the yin and the yin. That's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with your emotion. And then now you're dealing with your mental, which is now you're dealing with more logics. You're thinking about more, you know what I'm saying, more tangible shit. But anyway, going back to understanding why it's important. I mean, for you to attain that level of consciousness, those you have to become in alignment, meaning those two different aspects of you has to become one. They have to mesh. But that meshing has to take place through understanding. Because now, if they are separated, meaning now you're depressed or you're feeling anxiety, then this is not balanced. And vice versa. Is, let's just say, if you are much of a logical person, you decide to suppress your emotions and everything you do is out of logic, then you become very rigid, you become robotic, you become insensitive because now you're not taking into account, how people feel in the inside. You're only concerned with what you think is logic. In our life, obviously, I hope as all of us should a little bit recognize, I mean, there is such a thing as luck. I mean, there's so many different things that plays into your life. I mean, logic is just not enough. You see what I'm saying? Like Michael Jordan used to say, he knew he had the feeling and he knew when he has to take the last shot. How do you logically explain that shit? You can't. Because you have your emotions, you have certain things that motivate you. Like there's so many other things. That's why you can't suppress your emotions. When you do, you're not going to be balanced. You don't suppress your desires neither. What you do, you have to discern them. There are good desires just like there are bad ones. You got to weigh the shit out, but you can't get rid of your emotions totally. And now you just become fucking robotic. You become ridiculous. Judge Dredd. There's no ounce of inch of understanding in you. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't take, again, you don't take people's feeling into consideration. You know what I'm saying? And even in life, that's why they have, even in the Matrix, they call it the anomaly, pretty much referring to what's not normal. You're gonna have, I mean, that's just life. I mean, logic is to just, I mean, yes, it's good to have, but it's not everything you need. So if you're being too, let's just say, mental and suppressing this, then you are imbalanced. And your decisions, your vision is gonna be a one-sided vision. So now that you understand why it's important, and that's the only way for you to get to, to the path for you to attain the highest level of consciousness, because they both have to come together. You know what I'm saying? That's when you use your smart and your emotions at the same time. Like I think one of the perfect example when these motherfuckers brought that a whore to Jesus, and asking Jesus, should we stone the bitch? According to the law, that's what the law says. Well, nigga said, yeah, I mean, he didn't say, okay, fine. He did not disagree with the law. But nigga, which one of you here is perfect or is flawless? So that's when now he was tapping into using his intelligence, the mental and the emotion, and the emotion to give them a greater perspective because they were stuck in just what the law says. That's the mental. Do you see what I'm saying? So now with that, with including the emotion aspect in it, gives you a broader picture. Maybe that is not the answer. And at that point, I mean, shit, if you're saying, you know what I'm saying, let the bitch go. So that whole thing there, that was, you know, a well balanced, because I know for me, every time, like the first time I ever heard that sentence right there, or that little Jesus, moment, I guess, it had opened up my mind. Because what he was truly doing there, I mean, he was combining, it was a well balanced, the emotion of his mental. You gotta take that shit. We just gotta go further, man. Let's go further. Keep going. So now, when I'm talking about, so now you understand now, you know, you gotta be in alignment for you to see things better. Like I always tell people, if you choose to be a Democrat over being a Republican, well, you're gonna have a one-sided perspective. That's why there are two parties. You have a one-party perspective. So you have limited perspective. So you have two limited motherfuckers fighting each other. But if you adopt both mentality, because you can't tell me there's nothing good about there's nothing good about Republican. And if you're a Republican, you cannot fucking tell me there's nothing good at all in being a Democrat. Now, there's going to be shit that you agree with, there's going to be shit you disagree with. Well, if that's the case, why being one sided? You would gain a lot more with the understanding that you have, and now you adding their understanding to yours too, instead of being fragmented on this side and vice versa. So that's why you're, you have to become in alignment with you. So now, when I'm talking about being emotionally balanced, what I normally help people to understand is that they have to understand their emotions, about what their emotions are, to identify and understand their emotional pattern. Because at that place, as you are identifying it too, you know, you'll be in a position to actually create those patterns. That's when you are in charge of your emotions. But being in charge of your emotions has absolutely it doesn't mean faking how to express yourself. A lot of people, what they're doing is because they're not in connection, they fake to express themselves. So that's when you'll see people will tell you, well, you have better self control when you don't raise your voice, or you don't use profanity, or whatever the fuck motherfuckers be saying. That shit got nothing to do. It's more like you wearing a mask, because being emotionally balanced simply means I could express myself explicitly depending on how I feel. Now, if you're a motherfucker that do not use profanity, by all means, there's no need for you to use it, because at the end of the day, you know what you're expressing. For me, I use both. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, put all of it in perspective. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what it means to, and we say it all the time. Sometimes you gotta let a nigga know. Well, what does that expression mean? You gotta let a you expressing yourself. Not necessarily because I'm concerned about you, what you're saying, not because you somehow provoke me, you know what I'm saying? But I just need to address some shit. And then that's it. This is not a back and forth. You know what I'm saying? When you have a back and forth, now that's different. But to truly expressing yourself, however the fuck you choose to do it, as long as it's not you being triggered, is voluntarily talking your shit, by all means. I'm very good at that. You know what I'm saying? My way, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And nothing changed. I'm good over here. Well secured, well, all of that shit. So, in other words, to become emotionally balanced is not to fake your emotions, but it's really to be in touch with them and to know how they work, and you make them work for you. That's truly what it comes down to. So now, in addition to that, now dealing with the mental aspect of yourself, it's the same baseline understanding. Meaning now you're gonna have to understand how your mind works. How were you trained to think? You have to become aware of some of the shit that you were not aware of in the past. Or, in fact, to increase your awareness, that's what it means. It's for you to be aware of the shit that you're not conscious of. And one of the shit that you need to be conscious of is how were you trained to think, which is critical because it would allow you to understand how you got to think the way you're thinking today. So that's why your culture plays a part in how you're thinking today. Your political party plays a big part in how you today. Hey, y'all gonna learn today. This shit's happening today. You know what I'm saying? Yo, there's something special about today. I'm telling you, today. It's going down. Oh shit. I'm getting messages. You gotta understand how is your mind? How is it being shaped? So again, understand have to be mentally balanced. It's you being in control of your mental. You can't speak of self mastery if you're being controlled by something else. That would even go against the very meaning of what self mastery is. That means you mastering yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like the same exact thing goes if how do you if you don't understand how your mind how you got to think the way you're thinking, how are you thinking for yourself? So again, and I will be talking about that shortly. That's why for me, when I talk about spirituality or our essence, I mean, that's what spirituality is. Because none of the shit that I'm talking about right now are fucking. You can't tell me you can't relate to none of the shit that I just said. Even if I'm talking about your emotions, I mean, I mean, I mean, whether I'm talking about your emotions or now just the way I just talk about your mental, that's your fucking regular life. However, now I'm just going a little bit deeper into the reality of this life, meaning what it appears to be. That's why, again, and I will talk about that shortly. You know, your life, we are mysterious. That's why you gotta pass. I mean, you gotta see yourself more than dick and pussy because everything shows it. Now, the difference is going to be in you not being aware of it. Because essentially, what you're truly doing by becoming spiritual, now you start to become aware of some of this shit. Then now you understand you have a third eye. You have something called chakra. Oh my God. Then because your third eye now allows you to be more receptive to intelligence, to more vibration, because what's helping you grow as a person is those aha moments, or what people would call those downloads. Those back in the days we used to call them revelations, or those understanding, those little moments that help you to see things a little bit clearer, a little bit better. Well, that's what your third eye help you with, nigga. So now you becoming spiritual. Now you handling yourself, you behaving more as I mean, as the person that you are, meaning your true essence being spirit and all that. Now you acting in accordance to who you truly are. That's what becoming spiritual is. But anyway, shit, I guess I'm already talking about it. So if you coming back, you already know niggas. You know what we're doing. Nigga, I'm breaking bread already. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is open your mouth. This is the body of Christ. You already know. I boo boo, nigga. Welcome back. So I guess in so many words, I somehow started talking about it. But just so you guys know, especially if this is your first time, and if you're coming back, you already know. As part of my routine, I always everything you just heard is part of my routine. As part of it, you know what I'm saying? I always take the time and talk about spirituality because as a spiritual healer, spirituality is what it's the understanding, the knowledge that I use, or the mirror that I hold for you to me for me to say what I'm saying to you, but also for you to see who the fuck you are. I guess there's a whole lot going on here. Oh, I do a whole lot. Oh hell yeah, I handle a whole lot. But anyway, I'm wilding. Um, neither here nor there. But anyway, so I always take a little bit of time to talk about spirituality because it is our life. Now you might be asking yourself, how did I get to that conclusion? Right? How do I say spirituality is just your life? Well, I got to that conclusion by knowing and understanding my essence, my own nature. That I also realized this is all of our nature. But I got to that conclusion because I had to go inward myself. Then I realized, oh shit, this is what they call the fucking illusion. You gotta go beyond it. Meaning it you see what you see, but what you see is not what it appears to be. So to have a better understanding of what you're looking at, you gotta look beyond it because it's not what it is as it appears to be. So granted, now you don't identify with it because you were never trained to look at yourself beyond your physical body. All of you were trained to look at yourself as dick and pussy. That's why in our society, we have something, everybody is pretending. We live our life, we create a self image instead of who you are. You know it, I know it. I mean, shit, like, I don't know how much more you want to fake the funk. Like, it can't be fake. It can't be. I mean, by now, I mean, shit. I mean, it should be the realest shit. Everybody's faking. Yeah, man. I mean, that's why we live our lives. That's why you're keeping up with the Joneses. You automatically become a people pleaser. And all of that comes from you attaching yourself to a self image. And because you're looking at yourself through other people's lenses, you don't get to see what you look like. In fact, you are resenting your own self now. And that's where the conflict comes in. The anxiety. This is you going to be a doctor, but your heart is, you love music. There's a guitar calling your name. You'd see it every time it passed by. You said, fuck this shit. You're going to be a doctor because, you know, you'll get better validation. And because you think that way, or because you're doing that, now you have successfully, you are suppressing yourself. But every now and then, that desire is going to come out one way or another. Either through, I mean, it would have been healthier if you picked up the guitar, but it's going to manifest in some different ways if you choose not to. That's when you could be being triggered, or there's it's going to have some sort of effect or impact somewhere in your life. You may have to identify that. But anyway, going back to the whole spirituality thing, how is that relating? Is that um, as you can see, this is I'm trying to get you to see your nature, and this is all of our natures. When you say you know somebody, what you're truly saying is, of course, you know what they look like. You know what I'm saying? But you also got to know their fucking character. Is this motherfucker, is that nigga's a hoe? That's a bitch right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you really get to know somebody by getting to know what's behind them, their character, their true self. And that's how you can say such and such is a liar. or this guy's a stand-up guy because his character, whatever the fuck, or some people use a fucking image, but then there's something else at night. So now, even through the avenue of dating, if you're gonna date somebody, guess what you're doing? You're dealing with their moms, you're dealing with their dads, you're dealing with all their weaknesses. So again, it's more than just that pussy. That's why when you choose a bitch because she's beautiful, and then who's gonna raise your kids, nigga? Illusion. Oh, she look good, don't it? Huh? You better look for qualities. Because if you have kids with that bitch, who's gonna raise your kids? So in so many ways, I'm trying to get to show you our nature. So now you have something called now the Mayans, the Indians or Mayans, whatever the fuck. They tell you this world that we're living in. It's they call it Maya, meaning a world of illusion. And these motherfuckers, to be honest, couldn't be any. It couldn't say it any better. Because when I flip it around and look at it from different angles, what really this is, it is a fucking illusion. Even you dealing having a relationship with somebody, you have to go past their physical appearance. And if you don't, that's why in the beginning, if you go with the image in the middle of somewhere, you're gonna have to, yeah, man, you can't have that match forever, nigga. How do you think people get divorces, man? Come on. It's not what you thought it was on so many different levels. Now, you may argue you will never get to know somebody, but all you're saying is there is more to you than dick and pussy. So when you truly get to understand your own nature, and just as the Kabbalion says it, then you understand you are a living mind. You want to change your life, well, change your thoughts, change your thinkings. So that means you operate out of your narrative. Like that makes you a mental being. You're a living mind. That's exactly what that is. So that's why when you don't see spirituality as part of your regular life, that's because you are ignorant. You are ignorant to your own self. You don't know who you is, dog, or who you are, depending on how you look at yourself. You feel me? So out of ignorance, a lot of you are not connected to what spirituality is. And I would understand why you would ask me, how did I get to the conclusion that spirituality is my regular life? So not only I gave you the answer, but I'm telling you I understand why you even asking me that. You even asking me that. You see what I'm saying? Bonuses over here. Yeah, you gotta realize if this is for you or not. If it is, well, you are being well taken care of. Oh, it's satisfaction guarantee, baby. Yeah, that's what made us a quality. We are quality man over here. know what I'm saying? So you're always gonna get quality information. But anyway, hey, I had to put that in. I had to have mine for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Now we're good to go. I give you yours, well, nigga. Can I get mine? I just had to get mine. But anyway, so now going back to the whole aspect. So now, spirituality is your regular life as you get to understand your true essence. Now, another misconception that people has is that they look at spirituality as religion. No, I mean spirituality goes beyond religion. Religion is part of it too, because what religion is talking about is different thoughts, different trend, ways of looking at shit. But spirituality embodies that too, because just like I was able to tell you why you even see it that way, and so it's like I not only I answered your question, but I also understood why you asked the question. All of that is part of that's what spirituality deals with. So you when you talk about religion, cool, yeah, it's all part of it too. You know what I'm saying? But it's more than just religion itself. If you're looking at it from a different belief perspective, because when you're dealing with spirituality now, you're getting to see things from a higher perspective. That's why in spirituality, I could tell you that you behave like your God or your God behave like you. But if you're religious, you'd be like, what the fuck? You wouldn't get it. And the reason why you couldn't get it, because you are busy being acting like your God. So again, that's why I have compassion for you too. Even when you disagree with me, I still love you. It is what it is. But at the same time, fuck you too. You see what I'm saying? Hey, if I understand it, it's too bad, so sad. You don't get it. But I get you. But I get you though. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like it's a win-win for me because I get to see both sides. But for you, you don't get to see my side. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm winning out here. I literally feel sorry for you, nigga. Yo, I'm sorry for you, dog. And this is in my Haitian manners too, because we said, "Oh, dog, I'm sorry for you, man. I'm really sorry for you." You know what I'm saying? Because what's going on is you don't realize. Let's just say if I decide to say right now, I'm gonna become a 7 day Adventist, right? So automatically, like today, well, it's already Sunday, well, Saturday night, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like there's, my reality would be different because my God would ask me, on Saturdays, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't, let's just say if I had a job where I had to go work Saturday, I would have to let him know, you know what? You know what I'm saying? I can't do Saturdays. So I am creating a different reality out of the narrative of that God that says this is what the Saturday now is. And the same thing for Christians too. Christians always tell you it's like the Bible is the best. There's no other God, only one God, and all that. They act that way too because that's how they are. Listen, that's the narrative that they go by. I'm trying to show you that we are all living mind. But that's why you also got to be careful because that wisdom can set you free, but it can also enslave you too, obviously. Because a lot of these people that are being kept in captivation, which is out of ignorance, not the true knowledge, but a lesser part of that knowledge. That's what ignorance is. And for you to be the light worker, you have to understand the science of ignorance. Okay, I was just being fancy here. What you gotta understand, it's like, yo, only when you're no longer toxic, then you understand that you used to be toxic. But if you're toxic, you're not gonna know that you're toxic. So you understanding that you're toxic, that is the science of ignorance. In other words, you know how stupid you used to be. That's why I always tell people, listen, man, if you can't tell me how stupid you used to be, I'm sorry to say, you're probably still not smart. You have not grown. And check out anybody who have grown. I mean, who've grown. They always got a story to tell. Oh man, I used to do this. I used to see it that way, and they're not afraid of sharing that experience with you. You know why? Because they lived it. Oh, listen, man. Listen. I have, nigga. This is all proof, man. Like I have shit. You know, I have bitten all over here, man. We have to earn our stripes. Oh, trust me. So again, your true essence, or going back to that religious thing, it goes beyond that. You get to see it for exactly what it is. And then if you check out the fucking uh, uh, Buddhist or Buddhism or any other religion, their narrative or their sacred text does not say anything about them have to, make sure that they change somebody else's mind or other people got to believe the way they believe. It's nowhere in their text or their manual. So you are acting like you're God, bro. You're just not aware of it. So this is what spirituality would help you to see. And then at the end of it, we'll tell you to make sure you choose a better God, nigga. Or choose your God wisely. Or what are you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? But all of that has to do with you knowing who you are. Until you do, I mean, until you start to align with you, I mean, you just wasting your time. That's what being death is. That's what being a zombie is. You're not alive. There's no transformation. It all starts with you. That's why we must value us. But most importantly, just to summarize real quick, when it comes down to spirituality, again, that is your life. And then on the flip side of it now, just like you have your Bibles, you have those other books, then now you have the occult. Those are sacred texts by wise men or some of our ancestors, or I like to call it manuals that gives you a deeper understanding of who you are. That's why if you were to start learning anything about the occult, some of the basic shit would be for you to understand that you have a conscious mind and you also have a subconscious mind. What that is doing is shedding light on both your visible aspect, and your invisible part. So it's making you becoming more aware of who you are. Then now, if you delve a little bit deeper, then you understand what you have the power of law. I mean, the power of manifestation and all that shit. All that is showing you is that there is more to you than what you appear to be. But most importantly, now when you're dealing with the occult, you're dealing with that kind of wisdom, which is called esoteric knowledge. Or the type of knowledge that appears a way, but it's talking about something else. That's why a lot of the wise men, they use profanity, they use profane or the regular shit. Like I'll give you a perfect example. The Buddhist, they use a fucking lotus, which is a regular shit, And then there's a bunch of fucking wisdom that surrounded that shit. Because what the lotus is representation of, it's you being in the mud, meaning being down here, you don't know who you are, you don't have your full spiritual sight. And out of that darkness, you bulging out like a bud, you coming from the outside, you growing because you're getting fucking what? Rare, the sun coming down on you. Listen, that shit in itself tells you everything. So to show you that knowledge now, it's what gets you to become more enlightened. You become brighter and brighter. You are enhancing your self consciousness. So they're using the regular shit, and then there's a whole bunch of wisdom behind it. That's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with esoteric knowledge. You know, in this particular instance, you couldn't look at it, exactly for what it is. But you got to look at it from a metaphysical perspective. And then that again is knowledge in itself. Because when you're talking about metaphysics, and that's what we understand when our ancestors, we worship nature, we call nature God because nature teaches you. We say it all the time, the shit that's taking place in nature. Nigga, you rip what you sow. That's fucking nature. You're using nature example because you know this shit's also taking place in your life. That's why you and nature are one. But that's when you start dealing or identifying with the mental nature of the universe, which is your true nature. That is the nature that will set you free, meaning you get to see you in that level. Now, the flesh has ove death. Where is your victory? You have transcended the flesh because now you truly know who the fuck you are. If you get to see you as a spirit, well, spirit never dies, baby. Then now death for you, now you living life on a whole different level. Death for you, what you know is a transition, meaning going from one form to another. But you also, if you're looking at that from that perspective, when you were a young man, and then from a young man you become a man. That's why a man, as a man, I can't speak the way I used to speak as a little boy. So in other words, that little boy has to die, but not die in the sense of completely dead, but it has transformed, transitioned to a bigger man. That's how you can still relate to your younger self without being your younger self. It wouldn't make sense. I hope it doesn't make sense for you. Oh, it doesn't make sense for you, but yet you're still relating because you still have that youthful in you, that enjoying life in you. But yet, come on, we also got to take accountability as well. You see what I'm saying? Like we know how to play, but we also know how to work too. When it's go time, we know what's up, and that's how you live a balanced life, man. That's my eye. Now you get to explore life on a whole different level. But the way you're experiencing it, it's not even physical anymore at this point. Then now you are connecting with your essence. Come on, man. Whoo! And not to mention your connection with the ancestors too. It's crazy. Crazy. I love it. I fucking love that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's that shit had opened up a portal in me too. You know what I'm saying? Shit, we have direct access, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We VIP in this thing. Fuck you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm VIP, motherfucker. Hey, don't hate the player, man. Just hate the game. I fell in love with self, man. But anyway, again, spirituality is just you. But anyway, now, what I'm here to talk to you guys about is letting go, liking and loving yourself more. So what I pretty much been doing lately or in the past or my past recordings, it's giving out tips and encouraging people to support themselves, to love who they are, to make that or to reconnect with the self. Because obviously, as we all know, the society that we're living in, we all going by a self-image. I hope that's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? Whoa, did I say something? I mean, I don't know. Is that wow? Again, you're living it, but you're not aware of it. And that lack of awareness, again, that's why you are not mentally stable anyway, or mentally balanced. But that lack of self-control now you have, or out of ignorance, you created a whole world now out of that thing, out of that imagination or that imaginary person that you got to be. And by you doing so, it has an impact on every corner or avenue of your life. Obviously, because you're looking at yourself from a self-image. So how is your relationships going to reflect on that self-image? So everything you do is relating to that self-image. So therefore, even if you're gonna be in a relationship, you can't really fully be you. So therefore, if you can't be you, how can you love somebody else? Because what you're doing by you being you is that it allows you to relate to somebody else. That's why I always talk about this. You have to relate to the woman inside of you first before you can relate to the woman outside of you. What this is saying is you have to acknowledge your own feelings so that way you can communicate with her in a way that she would understand, or she understand that you understand what she's telling you. Have it a fuck. Tomatoes, tomatoes. Let's do 1 second break. You know what I'm saying? Talk to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You deserve it, baby. If you already got your thing up, if you were smoking or drinking, or just know this is the time to reload, baby. So it's almost like it's a break, but it's more of a, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not really a break, if that makes any sense, right? We're breaking, but I mean, it's a break, but you're not breaking, right? What the fuck you like to look at it? But anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, so I pretty much been talking about, because your true self-worth, or for you to even attain the highest level of consciousness, you know you would have, even you being in touch with your own emotions, your own mental, I mean, all of that is you. And the more you embrace the self, the more you'll learn more about yourself, right? You becoming more self-aware because that's what we're doing here. That's why us as spiritual teachers, we understand what we're doing is we're holding the mirror of wisdom so you can see yourself. Oh, we're dealing with magic. I am a magician. I'm not gonna lie to you. A true one too. I'm not a fake magician. I'm a true one. There's a couple kids, what I'm saying? I had to teach them a couple things. Sometimes they going back to what I was saying. You gotta let the nigga know. And at times, like I really love letting niggas know because, woo, do you see what I'm saying? So it's not like it's anything. I mean, it's just, you just let a nigga know. Like, nah, this is what it is. Oh, you're gonna learn. Oh, you're gonna learn. That's how it goes. But anyway, going back to the subject at hand. So, because I also understand not only that we are in a society that teaches us to go by our self image, but also, that has developed or created, this thing where you have to devalue yourself for you to be appreciated. Like, what the fuck? And I also talked about that too. But those are very valuable things. Not only, they're teaching you to stick to an image, but they're also teaching you how to hate yourself. Now, the better you are, the better you degrade your, and none of that got nothing to do. I mean, this is crazy. Now, it's literally crazy. I mean, if you understand it, but if you don't, I mean, hopefully, well, let's talk about it a little bit more. Because when you're looking at anybody who have succeeded in life or anybody who had made any progress or had became anything, those were people who had to take accountability for who they are at some point in their life. Either they had followed their fucking intuition, they had a gift, they had a passion, they follow it, or it became a passion. However, the fuck that manifested, there is a starting point with them and who they are. Because, I mean, that's the only way in terms of for you to grow, in terms of everything else. So to blame yourself, it's just crazy because nothing can be accomplished without you. You need to validate you. Isn't that what you taking accountability is? Who do you know that has a great, perspective, or I mean, but who's not taking accountability? Most likely, if you truly see these people, they tend to stay exactly where they at. They just got older, like physically, but they're truly babies. So again, it's something that we do to feel good, but in practicality, in reality, which is in actuality, you cannot do anything for you without you. And in fact, the reason why you even looking at devaluing yourself because you don't know yourself. So that's why it is sick in itself. It's out of toxicity. So if you're telling me being humble, first of all, look up the word humble. Humble has nothing to do with you not valuing yourself. To humble means, let's just say I'm a millionaire, I'm a doctor, and you work at McDonald's. It means because I am to be humble means I know I'm a doctor, obviously, but because I'm a doctor, I'm not going to disrespect you. Sir, may I please get this, or I'm ready to pay for that. Instead of coming, hey motherfucker, like you know what I'm saying, check me out, bitch. You know what I'm saying? And then I drop the money on the floor, pick that shit up, nigga. I'm a doctor. You see what I'm saying? Being humble, you know what I'm saying, has nothing to do with you not knowing who you are. And that behavior that I just told you now has absolutely nothing to do too because of that person who's a doctor. Because if that's something you truly understand, that's where your heart is, nigga, we have different paths in life. If anything, you should feel like you are you're serving humanity. Is it not? Who's coming to see you? What is there to even look at like, oh my God? I mean, I get it, the oh my God part, because we're helping society. If that's what you want to look at, but I don't think that's how you're looking at it, though. You know what I'm saying? Yo, oh my God, is more of a status shit. Again, the bullshit, the images. In fact, the reason why you may think you better than somebody else is because you identify yourself with self-image. It's the total opposite. That's why this is by design. What you're seeing, what you're experiencing is by design. This is the belly of the beast. Yes, sir. This is the type of education that is being pushed. I mean, look at the movies. I mean, look at, what I'm saying, you said it yourself. The media's doing this, doing all that shit. Well, it's all, they feeding you nothing but bullshit. Isn't that what you're saying? I think that's what I'm kind of getting. And that is that same society that didn't, I mean, how would they help you to be you? People have definition of what beauty is out of magazines. All those stories and those shit are facts, man. You know what I'm saying? You do know there are bitches that are getting BBLs, right? So I'm not making this shit up. To all my Barbies, hey Barbie, hey, 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 love you Barbies. I'm not coming at nobody. I'm just saying. I mean, but I'm also, I mean, you're not doing this because, I mean, you're doing this because of self-image. Your ass is too flat. Nobody's looking at you. You're not attractive. Self-image, man. You're concerned with the way other people look at you. I don't know, guys. Like it's not that hard to see, and that's why you don't get anything good out of it. And that's why you're always gonna have a low self-esteem. That's why, people are, what I'm saying, all this shit's happening. That's why you got to keep up with the Joneses. That's why you got to wear this type of clothes out of that understanding. If it's self-image, come on now. If you wearing the $700 shoes, nigga, what's up, dog? What's up, player? How you feeling? You on top of the world? Keep flying, baby. Nobody can tell you shit. Keep going, baby. I'm not here to tell you shit neither. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But as you come down, hey, listen, man, life is life. Yo, millionaires kill themselves. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? You don't know what these people are going through, dog, because life is life. That's why money, fame, success always secondary. Always. Has always was, and would always be. But if you're looking at it from the outside perspective, which is the self image, that's what you see first. That's why I always tell people, a lot of people, they don't look at the hard work that other people do. They always look at the results. Meanwhile, you see, if you're looking at Michael Jordan, or in fact, I was watching, I love that nigga, man. Much respect and much love, King. What is it? The Diary of a CEO. He had a fucking interview with Thierry Henry. When these nigga tells you like they're from the south side of French, I mean of France, that's the ghetto. So it's almost like, I mean, I'm saying that to say, just like niggas over here too. Like when Jay Z tells you he's from the project, nigga, listen. As far as I know, I don't know where I was born to be honest with you, but I was raised in Haiti. The shit I saw when I went to a fucking project for the first time, I have never witnessed that shit in my life, nigga. When Nas, if you listen to Nas had this shit, represent. He was talking about those piecing elevators, niggas taking shit and all that shit. Nigga, I went to a project in Brooklyn, nigga. Now, the way I ended up being there, it was like they have an Eastern Parkway. I mean, around Labor Day weekend, like every year there's a Haitian shit, right? So I met a nigga I used to know, and the nigga told me, "Yo, man, let me stop by real quick." Bam, bam, bam. I'm like, "Oh shit, nigga." I mean, it's the holiday. I mean, it's the parade. Everybody's on the streets. Niggas are drinking, whatever the fuck. So he was supposed to get more drink, and I went. And I'm like, "What's this, dog?" Nigga told me it's the PJs, man. I'm saying? Watch up where I was born in a P. I'm like, what? So I'm saying that to say, this is where I'm going with that, right? When you see a guy like that came from that environment and became very successful, people don't look at what they did or the person they had to become to get there. It's almost like you think it was a chance, nigga. It was I don't know, like because you're only concerned with the self image, it's either they get it or they don't get it. And they got it, it doesn't matter how they got it because they got it. Yo, this shit is crazy. I'm trying to get you to see like the chain of action that comes with you looking at yourself. I mean, it has an impact because it's like that's why knowledge is represented as a tree because it branch out in different avenues and different ways in your life. So when you have that perspective, it impacts you in so many different ways that you're not even aware of. And that's why, too, in essence, I'm helping you to understand the science of ignorance, too. But anyway, where the fuck was I going to go with that? So I was going to say again, yeah, when you thinking from that self image perspective, then you always, that's what a lot of haters do, right? The haters, it's almost like they always think everybody's lucky. If you get more money, meanwhile, I was just like you, nigga. You mean to tell me I'm lucky? You're like, oh no, it can't be. Is it possible that I may, while you partying and I'm studying? I mean, does our choices comes into play here? You know what? Haters don't see it that way. So it's like, yes, I was sucking dicks, I was doing all that shit, but yet, how did you get better than me, dog? That's some bullshit. I just wasn't doing what you were doing. You know what? And it shows. Maybe that's why we're not the same. We're in different classes. You don't belong here, stranger. Not your time. This is not for you. You know what I'm saying? And now when you wearing a shoe that's not for you, it's gonna hurt you. You hurting yourself because you don't belong here, dog. But anyway, so all of that, pretty much, again, the point that I was trying to make, and I'm building on pretty much, and I've been, that's what I've been doing in my past, couple recordings, is for you to make the connection. First of all, I was saying there's nothing you can do without you. So therefore, you have to acknowledge the self. That's the first step. Okay. Well, I mean, because before you were just going by the self image. Well, okay, let's just chill for a second. There's also yourself. Let's just start there. It's a marathon, baby. We'll do it slowly, baby. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it doesn't have to happen overnight. So now you acknowledge there is a self. Okay, so let's start, leaning towards that self. Then we understand we have to respect it. You know what I'm saying? You got to support it because a big part of your growth, you have to support yourself. But a lot of the problems comes from now you because you have to understand what you're doing. Let's just say by now that you are in this new path where you start to acknowledge the self. Listen, I mean, you're gonna have to learn how to support it. You have to nurture it. That's when you have to learn how to open up. You got to keep in mind you are being born again. Well, if you're being born again, meaning now you're going to have to learn how to crawl again. But this time you're doing it differently. Because being born again doesn't stop there. It simply means you get to acknowledge different things about you. Well, let's talk about the growth now. Now that you know you are a spiritual being, now you're going to have to start walking that path, right? And then what you're doing when you say nurturing the self, well, that's what you're doing also when you are supporting yourself. And I also talked about how the support is very important, because like I said, I was watching this Amarion fucking interview and then that Beyonce documentary, to see that it's not a coincidence that they got the way they are because they have support, meaning you had people you can rely on that believed in you, and then now for enough until you can believe in yourself. But for a nigga like me that didn't have that, a nigga. So that's why I didn't believe in me. I had to learn how to believe in me. And that's the process. That's the growth. That's the understanding. That's when now I'm able to identify and understand, the same support that maybe other people are giving you or you're supposed to give to other people. You first got to give it to yourself. So now when you're nurturing yourself, you're learning how to be vulnerable and continue to be vulnerable, meaning you are living the truth, you're becoming open, but you also strengthening your inner strength. You're building more comfort, and out of all that shit, guess what's happening? Your self confidence is stepping up. Your self esteem now, nigga, you looking good out here. But again, this is a process, so you have to keep that in mind. And as you're going through that process, then you will attain your highest level of consciousness as you embracing those different avenues and different understandings, and you crawling and now you walking, and then from there you're gonna start running, then you'll be jumping, you know what I'm saying? You'll be oh shit, like forget about it. Oh, man. Shit, you're doing a push up with just your finger now. In fact, you don't even have to hold anything to do a push up, baby. You're like, ah, like that on the floor. Ah. People like, how did he do that? Come on, baby. I'm that nice. So I tell him, even my moves got moves, baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's for my daughter too, man. Another sleepy one. Another beloved. Love you, baby. I'm like, yo, dad, my moves got moves, dad. Because we were just talking that thing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, going back now to, you got to start aligning yourself with yourself, right? So in my last recording, pretty much, then I talked about, embracing your true self, right? But in my last recording, I was telling you to identify what you identify yourself with. It was pretty much a continuation in so many words about you being your true self, because what you essentially doing by identifying what you identifying with. I mean, it's just the flip side of you embracing yourself more. Because now, as you become that new person, the way you have to address the old ways you were looking at yourself. Because you came from a self-image, meaning from the way everybody was looking at you, for you to look at you. So then now, as you start to look into yourself, the way you address or you transmute that or you overcome that, now you would have to address those old ways that people used to look at you or maybe make you feel about yourself, good or bad. You have to reassess those. Now it's almost like now they got to go through your approval, not because of what they say. Cool. We all have a say. Listen, man, you know what I'm saying? It's a free world, baby. Be free, motherfucker. But yet, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you just gotta acknowledge you first now. So that reassessment, and also later on, it's important because at some point in your growth, because what you're doing is as you're becoming the new person, is gonna have to face the old person. In the occult, we talked about healing the wounded child. What this is referring to now as the new emotion, you have to address those early emotions. But the way you do that, as you becoming the new person, in other words, you have a new perspective of yourself. You have to deal with now those old perspectives or those old issues that you had with the new understanding. So that's how you are reassessing the whole shit. But what you're also doing, but for you to reassess it, you have to come to the bottom of it. You got to understand. Okay, now for me, what that was at one point, like I talked about, I used to feel socially a little bit awkward because I actually went to college in Philadelphia. It's pretty much a state where like niggas are the egos. yo, these niggas are like on a whole different level. So because where I was I went to school in the city, because of where I was at that time, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of my interaction was a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, who was highly involved into the whole football, like the ego shit. So it's almost like a social conversation if you're going out for drinks, you know what I'm saying? That's all most motherfuckers will be talking about. But for me, it's like I used to feel like, nigga, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I love the game. Don't get it fucked up. But not to talk about it every fucking time. Jesus Christ. Give me a break. You that much of a fan, nigga? Can it just be a great game? You know what I'm saying? Instead of understanding or knowing who we're gonna trade, who got traded, who, and I'm saying it's just the amount of money they got. I don't know. I was always iffy about that, you know. But I felt socially awkward because that's what was taking place socially. Motherfuckers would start talking about the weather, fake conversation. Oh my God, it's so cold. Like nigga, we can tell. What the fuck? What do you want to talk about? You know what I'm saying? So I had to go back and I'm like looking at this whole shit. I'm like, God damn. Why did I even feel awkward? That's why for me, as I started growing too, it got to a point where niggas, nigga, I don't give a fuck about the game, bro. You wanna drink? You wanna talk some shit? Fuck the game, my nigga. I don't wanna talk about it. Because why now do I have to suffer or maybe feel some way because of your bullshit? Nah, nigga, I'm gonna have my good time. I ain't got nothing against your football, nigga, but you could take that ball and do what you gotta do with it. Yes, man. What I'm truly saying here, oh, all right, I'm wilding a little bit, but what I'm truly saying here is that having a different perspective of what that was, but most importantly, I mean, shit. Like for me, I'm very practical. So as I was going through my evolution, that's why I tell people, you have to become the word. The knowledge has to take flesh, meaning you're gonna have to you. What you want to sound smart and not acting smart? What are we doing? Then what makes you even smart? And that's what niggas are saying when they talk about the streets. You know what I'm saying? Not street knowledge. Nah, that's knowledge, period, motherfucker. I mean, that's true understanding. Where do you think the fucking where do you think the fucking FBI are? These niggas on the streets. Watch yourself. Guys on the streets, man. You thought the shit only belonged to you? Like you fucking crazy. Yeah, everybody's in the streets, man. What the fuck you talking about? So what you truly mean to say is practical knowledge. Knowledge has to be practical. You know what I'm saying? How do you think these niggas are raging wars and doing all whatever the fuck? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Since when? Crazy, dude. The streets belongs to everybody, nigga. It's on the streets. You best believe. If you don't believe, you gonna find out, nigga. Trust me. Woo, I'm on it. So anyway, so now there you are, going through the process, acknowledging the self, getting more comfortable, but also understand how you're becoming you. You know, the new you now, you are reassessing your old issues. You know, just like I said there, like for me, like what the fuck, nigga, I was wild. Now, it's not like I was mad at myself. I'm like, shit, nigga, you had absolutely nothing to feel any awkwardness. And later on, as I understood that, Oh shit. I was having the best time, nigga. Because now people respected me more, to be honest. Because now when they like fuck the game too, now they're gonna talk with, and you know I got a lot of shit to talk about. It wasn't not that. And then if it ended up being that, and then the game is about to be on, we're talking our shit, we're having even a better connection, man. Man, listen, I know what I know, baby. You know how I know? I lived it. So the transformation is gotta take you know what I'm saying? It's gotta happen that way. To a point now, if a nigga got you won't even talk some bullshit with me, man. You're like this nigga, you don't take no shits. You know what I'm saying? Because now my demeanor, you know what I'm saying? Oh shit, I show that. You know what I'm saying? You gonna lie to yourself. You ain't take the bullshit with you, nigga. Take it back. Fuck out of here. Go lie to yourself somewhere else. We don't even do that. We don't accept that. And just in just a second, I'm going to talk about boundaries too, because out of self love, right? So now, as you know, so first, you know, as you getting to know yourself, obviously you're going to learn because boundaries is you stepping up for yourself. That's all a boundary is. That's why when you create your boundaries, and anybody who has the boundaries, they understand. You're always going to understand, nigga. It's not personal. I just got to look out for me because I found more pleasure in me than in what you're saying about me. Do you understand? In other words, what you say don't matter. But the truth is, I found more pleasure in me than what you're saying about me. So it's not personal, but it's very personal. Now for you, it's taking or living, nigga. You know, it's a reason why they call this your treasure when you find the self or the God in you. You know what a treasure is? It's the most precious shit ever. That's why you'll give up on anything else just for that. That's why when you find your peace of mind, oh listen, man, I don't give a that nigga. I ain't playing with none of these niggas. Don't know. They don't understand. So if you somehow, I somehow created a boundaries with you, it's not personal, but it's very personal. It's very personal because now I know who I am, and I'm not gonna allow you. What the fuck? Like what you eat, your weakness. It's like how you want me to shit what you eat? It's like I didn't have mango, I didn't have strawberries, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You want me to shit what you eat? That's crazy. That's not even biologically. This is not biologically. It's not spiritually. It's not literally. It's nothingly like possible. This is crazy. That shit is it's only crazy. Nothing. It doesn't fit no categories. Do you see what I'm saying? That's like you think if I'm working out and then you pigging out, you know what I'm saying? You eating trash every day. Now I'm working out. I'm watching what I'm eating. You think because you eating that is gonna make me fat? How's that gonna make me fat? Make that make sense. How is you eating McDonald's every day? I'm eating my vegetables. I'm working out. How is what you're eating going to affect me if I allow it? But the truth is, I shouldn't have to even allow it because there's no connection at all. When you start to understand these things about you, it's only you got to create your boundaries. Jay Z was talking. I think he said it best. People would tell you you can't do that because they don't do it. He's like, nah, nigga, you didn't do it. That doesn't mean you can't do it. What the fuck? Why can't I do something because you couldn't do it? I mean, at least should you tell me, nigga, you should try it, give it a try. I didn't do it, give it a try. Maybe it might work out for you. But you said automatically because you can do it, I can't do it. Nigga, man, that's why you have to have your boundaries. Because your boundaries now, this is you stepping up for yourself. It's nothing personal in terms of, it's not a rage, it's not a hate thing that you had, it's not revenge, it's none of that shit. Nigga, you mean nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. I'm saying, not anything. Shit. Nigga, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because I found people who feel like they are entitled to me. This shit is always blow my mind. It's like, did you give me money? Is there somewhere in between in life I was going through some monetary issues or some emotional issue that you helped me with? Why would I? What the fuck? This shit is wild. This shit that you talking about crazy? Yeah, that's what crazy is. Is a motherfucker who's attached to you that you got no connection with. And this motherfucker claimed to have this connection. How? You don't even know. How would I not be able to live without somebody? It's like, were you paying my bills? I mean, if you were paying my bills, now I get it. Then now you could say that. You know what I'm saying? That's what your life is to that nigga. Not my life to you, nigga. I accomplished shit you did not accomplish. You know what I'm saying? How am I relying on you? I've done more than you. This shit is crazy. The nigga think I couldn't live without them. How? You never matter. How? Did you buy me a car, maybe, perhaps? Am I missing something? Am I missing something here? You helped me pay for college? Did you study with me? Or you paid tutoring? Like, did you you got me a book? Was that what it was? Because if any, I've done that for you. You nothing for me, nigga, at all. Oh, this shit is crazy. With codependency, weak motherfuckers. The bottom of the bottom of the bottom niggas. And those are your haters. But you got to understand the science of what the hater is. Because, of course, everything is luck. They are attached to their self image. So, I mean, because for you to grow, you got to start looking at yourself. No, for me, at one point, I used to be like, yo, man, I needed to be smarter. I wouldn't say I was dumb because obviously just to ask myself that question. So I'm not I can't do that to me. You know, we got better together, baby. But there had to be a starting point. I'm like, nah, baby, you know what I'm saying? And there was a time where I remember, I could have a conversation with somebody and then there's certain things I didn't see until a couple of days later. And I'm like, oh no, you have to bring that consciousness out, buddy. And guess what? Slowly but it's a process. You know what I'm saying? And all of that, and in the meantime, this is what I didn't understand. I was also opening up my psychic abilities. I was tapping because I was doing this to myself. I was opening myself up like cosmically. I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's all you're gonna get, nigga. So now let's go back to the whole letting go. So as you start to reassess this shit, you gotta let those old beliefs go. You gotta let them go. But it's good because now your new self is addressing those old issues, and you're gonna start seeing a lot of holes in those issues. Like when I was talking about me feeling socially awkward, it's like, nigga, that was not even necessary at all. You see what I'm saying? Because and what's taking place is that I'm finding my true self too. So there's a purge that's taking place. But that purging also is you addressing these old issues. So it's happening on different levels and different aspects of your life. From an energetic perspective, and then from an intellectual perspective, all of these. And that's what you got to resonate on all of those different planes. So ultimately, as you're becoming the enlightened one, you have to resonate on all of those levels. Because like I always tell people, to think critically, you have to be critical. Well, when you're saying being critical, well, there's a consciousness within. There's a discernment, there's an ability to think in you already have, or you have to develop. Otherwise, you're not going to think critically, motherfucker. You see, the aim and the target got to be one. That's why you got to be the knowledge. You got to become the knowledge. That's how you materialize your divinity. It's got to be, you got to materialize it so others could testify for you. Not that you're looking for their testimonies, but they understand. Listen, this is God's son. You are radiating out there. Your beauty. Come on, you're doing God's work. And these are my people. You hear me? Those are the people I work for. They didn't know. Scotty didn't know. Scotty didn't know. Because what happened to Scotty? Scotty thought he saw her prey. Do you see what I'm saying? He thought she saw a weak one. It's like it was a bait. Hey, Scotty didn't know that. Hey, Scotty. Scotty, oh, this nigga pussy. I'm gonna stick my dick in him. I'm gonna shit on him. You think so, Scotty? I don't think so, Scotty. It's Scotty, man. I told Scotty. I don't think so. Oh man. But anyway, guys, going back now to facing those old issues. As you're facing them, you are embracing yourself, your true self, a lot more. You are liking yourself more. You are loving yourself more. But you gotta let this shit go. That is part of the transformation. That is also part of the new you, which will also reflect in the new person that you've become. Because you are no longer not only thinking or acting in those old ways, but now your action inspire confidence. Look at you, baby. You're looking good out here, King. Sir, I was just having a moment. So now you become something meaningful, not just to you, but also to the people. I love you, baby. Listen, this is my reward. I don't think, yeah, it's not meant for you to understand, but if you do, find yours, baby. Find yours. No, this is my food, nigga. No, it's not for you. No, you gotta get your own plate. Go get yours. You can never have mine. It's not your size. In fact, you are experiencing this not being your size, but you still don't get it. Well, I got it. Why you so dumb? Why you choose to be so stupid? Oh my God! Why you choose to be so stupid? I guess that's what you know. I get it. Because if you knew better, I don't think you would have chosen to be that stupid. I mean, unless there's something I don't know here. Well, there's a lot I don't know to be honest. But like in terms of that part though, mm-mm, that's not it. Not it. It must be hypnotic because that's not it. Yo, yo. But anyway, guys, going back to the whole letting go, you gotta let go, baby. As you are reassessing the self, now you've seen there's a lot of shit. I know for me, I found there's a lot of shit that don't hold no fucking water. It's like even the idea of pleasing others to me is just so crazy now because I have transformed. But at the same time, I am also you got to find a balance. But when I look at it from a fucking and I mean doesn't make sense. And of course, there's a reason why they called you a lost sheep. Or they would say, period, you lost anyway, because that's what lost is. You don't know where you at. Where I'm at here, I'm lost. Can somebody guide me? Yeah. Go in. Inward. Then when you start to follow your passion, if we're gonna start there, it's guiding you somewhere. Now you don't know where this shit's gonna guide you. It's all good, baby. You know what I'm saying? You all walking your path. The transformation, the knowledge, the transfer. Nigga, listen, it's worth every little bit of it. Trust me. And any of these men who have accomplished, and that's what I was trying to say too. You know, like people take a lot of people for granted. Like when Wyclef told you, nigga, I had to learn English, and now he is where he is. This nigga showing you, nigga, I put in a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what you're listening to, but for me, that's what I'm listening to. But it's also showing you how he had to expand his mind and not being limited to anything. Well, this nigga's saying so much. But the bottom line of what I'm saying is, you know, people don't look at people's truly like what they go through because you learn to just look at the end results, which is the image. Because for you to start acknowledging people, then you gotta start looking at effort. You gotta see you first. Listen, guys, that's just the way it is. You gotta see it in you first. That's how you can relate to other people. How can you relate to somebody? Even to relate means you gotta have something in common. I don't know what else to say, man. Help! You know what I'm saying? Please take it easy on me, guys. You know, it's also a process. It's also a process. It's a process for all of us, baby. So you welcome here, man. This is your safe haven. You hear me? But at the same time, we are questioning ourselves. This is not do it's not being done through self-blame here. This is through self-awareness. This is us waking up. Not through blaming, because when you blame, you don't take accountability, there's no growth, you don't do none of that. The reason why a lot of people who's blaming themselves or looking at themselves, you blame yourself for shit you don't have. First of all, you're already looking at yourself from not even a self perspective. So from a different angle. You're looking at yourself through something else. Yo, you scared. Yo, can you see how crazy this shit is? You're looking at yourself through something that's not yourself. And then now as you're looking at that something, and then now you mad at yourself for not being that something that you were not looking at yourself to begin with. Yo, this shit is wildin', nigga. And then you wonder why you have anxieties. Come on, like that's a fucking recipe for anxiety. That's why you are depressed. That's why you have all the nigga. It's by design. Do you understand? You did it to yourself. Well, consciously or unconsciously, doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're taking the proper actions. So that's why we're helping you to become more conscious. Or as we say, or most people would say, to wake up, to reconnect. But for you to do that, you have to first acknowledge yourself, not your image, yourself, my friend. And then when you start to acknowledge yourself, in the beginning, it's not going to be easy. Meaning that's where your vulnerability is required. But trust me, as you're doing it, what you don't understand is it's almost like you were a baby, you're using those muscles for the first time. Now, as a baby, if you did not keep getting up, you wouldn't be walking right now. So the whole idea of you got hurt and you not getting up because you got hurt, that's where toxicity comes in. That's where coward, you're a coward. That's what it comes at. That's when now you're afraid of being vulnerable. But vulnerability is your path, is your strength. Because what you're doing is you're becoming more of you. You are reinforcing who you are. And just like if a baby, well, at first it's not, you gotta fall. But you understand the reason why you're falling is just so you could get up. That's the only, that's why you fall, nigga. So you could get up. Not to stay, no, to get up. You understand? So a lot of us, that's why our nature in itself is love, because at the very beginning you were open. Now the only thing you would say, I was naive, but yet now it's like, well, okay, this is what I'm seeing, right? Even if you what you're calling the dating game, what I'm seeing is that people that got hurt learn from other people that got hurt, and now they teaching them how to hurt other people, and then they calling that the dating game. You know what I'm saying? And all the game they teaching you, let's just say you want to get your revenge. I saw a motherfucker, a dating coach. This nigga said, listen, you shouldn't be doing trying to get revenge with your ex, because why should you? But on the same breath, you don't mind to deny your feelings. No, 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 no. That is the feeling you need to transmute. That is the feeling that you need to, this is the old issue that you have to fix. Because now, if you're looking at somebody else, you're not looking at yourself. And if you're looking at yourself, you will not be looking at somebody else. That's the way it goes. If you learn from it, you got no, there's no fucking revenge that should be somehow lingering around you. So therefore, what I'm seeing these motherfuckers are doing, they're teaching you how to replicate the same pain that you have, how to inflict that on other people. And then they call you now, you're getting stronger. I'm like, holy shit. Okay. That's how your niggas were playing out there? I'm saying, I mean, if you don't believe me, check him out. Or you don't call him the first day, you don't give him the pussy the first day. Now, when you find your person, giving it on the first day, first month, and what you call your person, you also understand it's more than that bullshit. Now, this is the bullshit you're holding on to. Now, when do you give out your pussy? Like, do you get a say? Do you even feel like, do you feel that man to give him your pussy? Now you're asking somebody else, when should you open your own legs? And now you're a strong bitch. Hey, Steve, I got a question. Damn, niggas, y'all doing it, niggas. Con fucking congratulations. You know what I'm saying? It's always the motherfuckers who's living a profane life. Like, anyway. Anyway, y'all playing to lose. You don't gain nothing by playing games. Nothing. Not a good relationship, not somebody who open up to you. Because when you gain, it's really when a fucking relationship you transform in that relationship. You know, when you become intimate with that person, you winning because it's adding to what you didn't have. You become vulnerable, and the more if both of you motherfuckers are vulnerable to each other, oh, it's beautiful. Look at you, keep going, baby. And then as you're doing so, you're building your love, your transformation, your admiration, your respect. All of this shit are taking place. Oh, you got something good. Keep going. Now that's a growth. Now that's how you really get to respect that person. You're listen, it's I don't know what you guys are playing out there, man. This is a topic. Like even the people talking about niggas, it's crazy. And even when niggas are talking about women, niggas they really talking about hoes, and it's with men too. Because I know from what I know growing up, yo, we don't talk about hoes, man. Hoes are hoes. You already know. Like a hoe is not even part of the conversation. But now niggas will tell you this is how women are. Now you dealing with hoes, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. But anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, what the fuck am I talking about? I mean, again, you're dealing with the mental aspect of people. Then you have people that are people pleaser too. Hey, Steve, where do you think I should open up my legs? Shit. I mean, you should have asked that nigga that question like behind the stage. He'll let you know it's right here, right now, nigga. You ask that nigga that question behind the stage. Well, nigga's right here, right now, baby. That's when you open it up. What the fuck? And then, oh man, this shit is crazy. So, guys, again, what I'm trying to say here, man, listen, we have to learn, and as you're letting go those past attachment, you know what I'm saying, you're getting to know yourself more, you're getting more comfortable. You got to keep going, keep liking yourself more. And at the same time, it's important to let these old beliefs go because you have to understand what they were. Because okay, the reason why most psychologists what they're trying to get you to is to acknowledge it. You got to acknowledge. I mean, you cannot fix anything you're not aware of. That's why people who are toxic they don't know that they're toxic. Now, when they have a bigger acknowledgement, now I could tell you how toxic I used to be, but at the time, bro, I didn't think it was toxic at all. That's why people who grew up in a certain environment, they reproduce the same exact shit. I know for me, when I first started understanding, I came from a dysfunctional family. It was in my first, very first psychology class. When I was in that class and I started, I'm like, what the fuck? Is there somebody following me? Nigga, really? I'm paying my money here for y'all niggas to dish me? Or no, I don't remember. Was it in college or maybe in my senior year, high school? I don't remember. You know what I'm saying? But whatever the fuck is, I didn't come here for all that shit. And then in that class, I'm like, whoa, all this trait, everything. These niggas was talking about a dysfunctional family. That's what I was going through. But Until then, that shit was regular to me, dog. You feel me? Being abused verbally, corporally, like it was just regular shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what niggas do. You know what I'm saying? We take it with heart. You do whooping your ass with stitches and all that shit. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? That's what niggas do. So now, you know what I'm saying? When I have my kids, I'm gonna whoop their ass too. You know what? Why? Because that's what niggas do. And that's the best thing ever. And that's why a lot of people are not, and that's what's happening too. And I came to realize that a lot of people came from abusive families, but they don't even know it. So you think when we're talking about abusive, and it's, let's just say you were raped or molested, for the most part, people always look at it from that perspective only. Not to say that's not part of it, that is part of it, but there's a greater picture out there. Because being abusive or being abused, it goes in, it is verbally too. And for the most part, sometimes verbally could fuck you up even worse than just the body. I'm just saying, because ultimately, if we're saying with the living mind, or if you understand your essence as a living mind, then that's why a lot of people, if people used to look at you as shit, how do you look at you as being any different from that? Especially if your validation is coming from the outside. So, see, now what you're doing as you start going inside. So, what people used to say about you not being the shit, that's what you have to reassess. When you're doing that, you are addressing those old issues. And as you're doing so, you are setting yourself free. That's how the truth set you free. So it's all taking place simultaneously and it's being affected in so many different levels as you're going through it. Oh, I understand my transformation because I was transforming. Well, no. Let me just say now, I'm transforming as I'm being transforming, if that makes any sense. Whereas the transformation was taking place, I was more of a witness, but now I'm being part of it, though. And that's why I could tell you what I'm telling you now. But anyway, let's just summarize this shit. Almost 2 hours, man. Fuck, man. Just when I'm getting lit. I'm saying, if I talk my shit. But guys, I'm gonna make a part two of that shit. But anyway, let's just summarize the shit real quick. So now, as you coming, so if we're using that same fucking example, right? Because now you start looking at yourself as you, then because now you still agree, because that's pretty much what it is. When you have the self image, you are agreeing with what people are telling you. That's why you're a people pleaser. You know what I'm saying? It's like this motherfucker just tell you ain't shit. Oh, okay. I ain't shit. Why are you not shit? Well, such and such told me I ain't shit, so I'm not shit. Did you assess that for yourself? How do you know you're not shit? You should, and as you're doing that process too, then you're gonna realize, you're gonna start to acknowledge your haters. That's why you have to understand the science of ignorance. Your haters, like I always tell you guys, right? Because you gotta understand how they feel. Because they were looking at images just like you, and because of that, they have neglected who they are. And then you somehow, somewhere along the way, you start to acknowledge you. Meaning now you're going for what you feel, you're doing for this, and this motherfucker says, what the fuck is this nigga doing? That's why people would tell you, yo, this is how you know you're doing something good when you have haters. I get what they're saying, but listen, I mean, it's part of it too. I mean, but you're doing something good because you're in alignment with yourself, not because you have haters first. So let's make that clear. I mean, I guess that's the part that I was, but I understand what they're saying because you cannot put the hater before you because the hater is hating you because of you. So how can the hater becomes before you? There's no way. That's cap. That's bullshit right there. Because the hater now only hate on you because of who you decided to become, or as you become in alignment with you, whatever the fuck the story is for you. I'm trying to get you to see the bigger picture, and that's where you'll see these motherfuckers too. You know, like that's why they don't. They will always hide who the fuck they truly are. That's why they are deceivers. So now, because they don't have it, they're not somehow you got lucky because they're not looking at your effort, just the results, right? So now they're mad. How can you have? I mean, you cannot have this if I don't have it. That's what the mentality of the crab in the barrel is. You're trying to go up, it's pulling you down. Yeah, those crab ass niggas, bottom of trash. That's what trash is. And me, I'm verbalizing all these motherfuckers. You trash. It's like shit. It should stink. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucking with you. It doesn't make any sense. First of all, there's nothing in what I did that you were part of. Then now, as I'm going through my path, you somehow come in like how, when, how, where, like what was? I mean, shit. This shit's crazy. It's crazy, dog. You know what I'm saying? While you were sucking dicks, I was reading books. Two different paths, man. Now, while you were in the streets, you for the streets, I was not out there like you were, nigga. Even when I was partying, and I still party too. I come home, I open up the book, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I was always on my op shit. I know. Hey, listen. I give the Caesar what belongs to Caesar. I go out and have a good time. I do whatever the fuck. You think I'm speaking this shit overnight? Like, how did I become a spiritual healer? Like overnight, not transforming, not educating myself, not nurturing. Like, what the fuck? Yo, you Dutch? Wow, that's a tough choice. It must be hard on you, but that's your choice. Wow, like that's what you chose. But hey, it's your own. But anyway, so we were talking about that's you gotta let all that you burn these motherfuckers. This is what you do. You burn all of this trash, all of these old fucking issues, all the motherfucker who said you couldn't do shit. And now you don't do it because you're trying to get back to them because that's not the way. You do it now because you know who you are. That's what I was talking when you create your boundaries. Your boundaries is not to make them feel less than. It's not because you attacking them. Oh, they did that to you. Now you got to do that to them. I mean, hey, it sounds like revenge, obviously. But if you're creating your boundaries, it comes out of self love. That's why it's not personal, but it's also very personal. The part that is not personal is because, nigga, that has nothing to do with you, but it has everything to do with you because now I have acknowledged the person that I am. So it's really because of me. So because of me now, I will not allow you to just talk to me any fucking kind of way. That's just because of me. And I'm not gonna go back and forth. Guess what? I'm not gonna tell you to respect me. Nah, nigga. I'm gonna respect myself and remove myself. You're gonna respect me any fucking way. Especially the hard way. Trust me. Especially the hard way. Because I put it where it means something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. Nigga, I make it count. And you ain't seen shit yet. They think it's a game. Listen, that's why for me, I never stick a motherfucker in his back because I don't take pleasure in it. What pleasure does it take? I mean, damn, that's that's low to me. But if I'm gonna stick you, I want you to look at me when I put it into your heart and doing all of that. I like, look at me, nigga. I did this to you. Now you throwing rocks, hiding your hands. I'm coming to you, motherfucker. That's the difference in me and you. We're not in the same class, nigga. You ain't even seen shit yet. Trust me. Keep coming. Keep doing whatever you're doing, nigga. I mean, you let me know if it's working. You let me know. Say when I aim, I never miss, nigga. 'Cause I stay with you. Oh, y'all gonna get it. The hard headed never get it. He gotta see it to believe it. And I love hard headed niggas because I want you to see it too while I give it to you. Oh my God. I love every fucking second of this. You playing? Yeah, I don't know what type of game you thought you were playing. I'm playing. I play to play, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And no, nigga, and no coming back from this. You wouldn't want me to come back of it, would you? Of course you. Yeah, no shit. All right. I'm gonna play it your way and show you who played better. I'm gonna play your game and show you don't even know how to play your own game, nigga. Now listen, man. Like I put emotions in everything I do. You know what I'm saying? I do everything for real, nigga. You stabbing me in my back? That's good.